Hello, I'm Linda and I'm really excited about being part of your RE lesson today. I'm going to think about what it would be like to go on a journey. And so I'm getting ready with my rucksack. Here's my rucksack. Okay, and I was just going to share a few things that I've got in my bag. Okay, so I've got my waterproof just in case it does start to rain. I've got some, what else have I got? Oh, I've got some walking boots. Some walking boots with some nice thick socks so I don't get blisters. They're really important. In fact, they've still got some sand on from where I went walking on the beach the other day. What else have I got in here? Oh, I've got some plasters just in case I get a blister. Really, I should have a first aid kit, but I haven't put that in yet. But plasters are always good. Then I have, oh, this is something really important. I wonder if you know what this is called. This is called a compass. And you know, sometimes when you've got your map, here's my map, sometimes you need your map and your compass to show you the way to go. So they're really important because we don't want to get lost, do we? So we'll put that there. What else have I got in my bag? Oh, I've got my water bottle. It's always important to take water with you when you go for a long, long walk. And maybe a snack too. I've got some nice biscuits there as a snack. I wonder what snack you would like to put in your rucksack. Okay, oh, and I've got my waterproof trousers just in case it rains. And I've got a few more things. Oh, I've got some sweets. I've got some mints just in case I fancy a little treat and need some energy. Got a woolly hat. And just in case it gets dark, I've got my head torch. Yeah. So these are all the things, if I was going to go on a journey, a walking journey, what I would want in my rucksack. I wonder, if you were going on a walking journey, if you had a rucksack, I wonder what would you put in your rucksack? Just stop and have a think about that for a moment. Okay, right, my rucksack is full and I'm going to put it on my back, ready to go on my journey. It's quite heavy, you know. So here we go, my rucksack's on, and the story and the journey that we're going to think about is actually a story that you will find in the Bible. It's a story that Jesus told to a lot of people. And this story is going on a road, and the road looks a little bit like this. It was a bit deserty. There was lots of sand and high cliffs, and it was all sandy on the road and very rocky on the road. And the person that was going on the journey was going from Jerusalem to Jericho. And this story you'll find in the Bible. Now, I know some of you have probably seen this Bible before, where we've had stories before with all the pictures and things like that. But it's in this Bible, but it's also in this Bible. In fact, any Bible that you pick up, you will find this story that Jesus told over 2,000 years ago. Come on, let me show you. Let me tell you the story. Okay, so this story is from the Bible, and it's from a book called Luke, and it's in chapter 10, and it's called the Good Samaritan. You might know this story. Okay, and there was this man, and he stood up and he said, Jesus, what do I have to do to live forever? And Jesus would have looked at him and said, you have to love God and you have to love your neighbour. And the man said, who's my neighbour? And this is what Jesus said. He told a story. Once there was a man, and he was walking along the road from Jerusalem to Jericho. It was a very long road. It was about 18 miles long, and it was dirty and it was dusty and it was hot, and there was no shelter walking along this road. It was a very long way. When suddenly, out of the back of the rocks came two robbers, and they jumped out and they knocked the man over, and they took his bag and some of his clothes and his drinks and everything that he had, and they ran away, and they left this poor man lying in the road. He tried to get up Oh, it was no good. He'd been bashed and he'd been beaten and he was hurting. What was he going to do? The sun was streaming down and it was so hot. Then he could hear footsteps in the distance. There was a man coming. Perhaps the man will help me, thought the poor man lying on the road. Now this man, he was a priest from the temple in Jerusalem. And he was walking along the road, but from Jericho to Jerusalem. Here he goes, walking along the road. And he stopped and he saw the man. I wonder what he did. Well, he didn't stop. He walked quickly on by. Oh, that poor man, he thought, oh, why didn't he help me? I'm hurting and I'm aching and I'm hot and I haven't got any water and I can't get up. What am I going to do? Well, a little while later, another man came walking along the road. Here he is. Now this man was a man from the temple. And he was walking the 18 miles along the road, the dirty, dusty, hot road. Here he comes. Now I wonder what he's going to do. He didn't stop either. He walked on by, probably very quickly. He didn't even glance at the man, and off he went on his journey. Oh dear, this poor man, he's lying there on the road from Jerusalem to Jericho, and it's hot and it's dusty and it's rocky, and who's going to help him and what's he going to do? Then he could hear more footsteps coming along the road, but not just footsteps, some feet, some other feet too. Click, clop, click, clop, click, clop. Here he comes. It was a man. It was actually a Samaritan man. And he was walking along with his donkey and he was on his way to Jericho. Now I wonder what he's going to do. I wonder if he's going to stop. What do you think? Well, here we are again. The man with his donkey, the Samaritan man, he did stop. Now, the thing is, this is a Samaritan and this is a Jew. And the Samaritan and the Jews really didn't get on. They really didn't like each other. In fact, what you normally would have found, you would have thought it was the Samaritan that would normally be laying down and the Jew walking along. But it was a little bit different this time. The Jew was lying down and the Samaritan was walking along. And he did stop. And do you know what he did? He jumped off his donkey, okay, and he found some bandages. And he started to bandage the man up, all those little bits where he was hurting. And he put some oil on as well to help make him feel better. And he put him on his donkey. And then he took him down the rest of the road all the way to Jericho. Wasn't that kind? Wasn't that caring? He really cared about that man that had been beaten up on that road. And then he went to an inn, somewhere where the man could sleep. And he left the man there and he said to the innkeeper, I am going to give you some money to pay for this man to stay with you. And the man gave 2 silver coins. And that was a lot of money then, because you'd get 1 silver coin for 1 day's work and another silver coin for another day's work. So this Samaritan man gave a lot of money. And he said then, if it's not enough, then when I come past this way again, I'll give you some more money. Wow, wasn't that kind? So then Jesus said, who do you think the good neighbour was? Do you think it was the Samaritan? Or do you think it was the priest? Or do you think it was the man that worked in the temple? Which one do you think was the good neighbour? Have a think. That's right, it was the Good Samaritan. The Good Samaritan could see this poorly man lying on the road. He felt sad for him and he wanted to help him. And then he did something. He lifted him up, he wrapped him up in the bandages, he put him on the donkey and he took him to the inn and he even paid for him to stay there. And Jesus says that's what a good neighbour is. Somebody that can see and that can feel and that does something for somebody else. And then he said to the man, you go and do the same. You go and be a good neighbour. So, loving your neighbour is what you see, what you feel and what you do. So loving your neighbour is what you see, what you feel and what you do. So, look at your neighbour now. Give them a smile. Give them a wave. We think of a neighbour, don't we? Somebody that's next door to us. Maybe somebody that lives in a house next door to us, or maybe we're sitting next to. But actually a neighbour in this story is about somebody who needs your help. And that man that was walking along the road, that Samaritan, he could see, couldn't he, somebody that needed help. And he felt so sad for them, and he was worried about them, and he was concerned about them, and he wanted to help them. So he did something. So that Good Samaritan, he could see something, he could feel something, and he did something. I just want to tell you a quick story about my son. When he was a little bit little, probably a little bit older than you, we used to go up to London quite a lot because his daddy works in London, and we'd spend quite a lot of time walking around the streets. And you know, in London there were a lot of people that didn't have anywhere to live. We call them homeless people, and they were sitting on the side of the streets. And my son could see these people sitting on the streets, and he felt really sad. And he kept saying, Mummy, I want to do something for them. So we came up with a plan, and this plan lasted for years and years and years every time we popped up to London. So what we'd do is we'd buy some chocolate and we'd get some change from my purse, okay, and he'd stuff the chocolate and stuff the coins in his pockets, and we'd go around the streets of London. And every time he could see somebody, he felt so sad for them sitting on the side of the streets. And this is what he did. He gave them some chocolate and he gave them some money. So he could see somebody that needed some help. He felt so sad for them and he wanted to be kind for them. And he did something for them. Just like that Samaritan did with that man on the road. Now I wonder, how could you be a good neighbour? How can you see something? How can you feel something? And what could you do to help somebody? I wonder. Have a little think now. So it's been great sharing the story of the Good Samaritan with you today, and it's been great to think about who my neighbour might be and who your neighbour might be. So as you leave the classroom and you're in the playground or you're at home and you're just out playing, just always think, what can I see, what can I feel, and what can I do to help other people? See you again soon.